Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Dallas Anime Meetup podcast. My name is Corey, and joining me once again are.
Oh, hi everybody, it's Nick.
And I'm Justin.
Hey, guys, and also joining us today, we have a special guest. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, nice to meet everybody. This is Jamar Hamilton.
Thanks for joining us, Jamar.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no
We got
problem, no
PC
problem.
God on our side, guys.
It's nice to have, the fellow PC gang here.
We are not worthy.
I mean, yeah, I'm not on your level, but we can just kind of bounce off each other as fellow PC guys. We got actually a wide variety of different niches here. We've got
Different
like
gamers
yeah,
here.
yeah, different
Yeah,
different types of gamers, and I think I'm the only MMO. Well, Jamar, you get MMOs, but I
I'm in
don't.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm also like in that boat too. Um, but before we deep dive into some of the really heated topics that have come up in the past week, how about Nick? Do you want to shed some little news on us right now?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. A lot of little things popping up here and there. Funimation then actually has a app uh, where that's on the Nintendo Switch now. Previously, like they had.
Wow.
Well, no, it wasn't even Netflix. There was Hulu. There still isn't Netflix. Like what,
Yeah, it's just
4 years
Hulu.
on? That's crazy.
Probably because it ran like shit on the Wii system, so they're like, yeah, we're not bothering with this.
That might be it, but it's like you feel like they could figure it out. Is like Nintendo, but then again, their online really isn't.
Yeah,
It
because
really
Nintendo's
leaves
just
much to be
so
desired.
so woke and just in tune with its community. That's something I
Oh
affiliate
boy,
with Nintendo.
yeah,
Uh,
we're gonna get into some of these Nintendos. It's we were kind of harping on them last week, but things haven't really gotten all that much better. But I mean, yeah, I've been watching the some anime on the Funimation here, and it seems to be working. They got a pretty good selection. Going back a couple years. They had the Nintendo Indie World presentation as well. I was just seeing there's a bunch of games that involved like cats. That seemed really cute. There was a game about running a cat cafe, and but you're the like size of a cat yourself. So it's like you're building this cafe and like organizing it and stuff. I feel like it's a very there's a niche, there is a audience that's wanting that exact game exactly how it is, but
Cat
So,
Sal.
I
yeah.
it's not exactly myself.
So, is it cat size people or people size cat?
Oh, that
Oh
is a good
God,
question.
sounds terrifying.
It may actually be a horror game this whole time, and this guy's the cats are people sized. I hadn't even thought of that,
Well, if it
but
ain't
it seems
Nekopara, I got
interesting.
no interest.
But yeah, there's also a cat fighting game that's called Fisty Fluffs. Uh, there's a bunch of cute little indie games. The Yacht Club guys that did Shovel Knight, then they actually have a uh, new sci-fi sort of side-scroller classic pixel art style game called Cyber Shadow that looks pretty good.
Huh?
I think that's
Not
coming
not
out.
more Shovel Knight DLC?
I thought it was at first the like art style. It's like slightly different, but it's still it could be like I could see it as being Shovel Knight DLC. I don't remember like exactly if it's the same sort of world map design,
no.
but it definitely could have been almost the same sort of like crawling through Mario style cave Super Mario stuff, but eh, it looks all right.
Yeah.
There's a anime sci-fi visual novel game called Neosha that seemed to just it was like Among Us the visual novel was the
Really?
best way I could describe it. Like it's like a crew of 10 people or something, and like one of them is an alien, but it could be you, and it has all these branching paths and stuff. The art style is like it feels like they hadn't finished the art of all the characters. Maybe like that was the style that they were going for was this, but
Kind of half ass.
yeah, that was it. Just didn't seem as we've been playing a couple visual novels here with the meetup group then, And compared to some of those, this one just seemed a little not all the way at the even at that level of like art detail and all, but it seems to have different like you can reveal that you are the alien at any point and that would change your interactions with the other characters. But anyway, let me just go through the rest of these here. Then we got Spelunky and Spelunky 2 that are coming. Among Us then as well actually dropped on Switch on that day on Wednesday. um, it turns out, and so there's crossplay, but like there's only you should pretty much have Discord if you want to do like a chat with people that are playing on the computer or mobile version. You can do the Nintendo Online app on your phone, but to talk, but only to other people that are also playing Among Us on the Switch. So that's kind of whatever. Um, Turns out though, there's a glitch that allows you to play. They may probably be patching it very soon. The airship map that was revealed at the Game Awards then
Oh,
last week.
Jesus.
It's not finished, so there's a lot of the tasks that are like you can't complete them and it'll crash your game. But if you want to look it up, I guess spoil yourself for a map that'll be coming out, I think in January or something. They're saying, it seemed interesting, but definitely it's not finished. There's a lot of art assets and the tasks themselves, but it was interesting. Um, the Nintendo Online service had some new games, including Donkey Kong Country 3. It's just okay. I'm really hoping that they have some like more consoles, like Game Boy Advance games, maybe
Can you play Mario RPG
GameCube
on there?
You should just be
games.
happy you're getting a Nintendo game for free. What are you talking about?
Yeah, is it free? I'm paying for like the Switch Online
No,
subscription,
it's
whatever it
free.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm using his
I
online
guess.
Move
subscription.
over, PlayStation Plus.
Just people are on my subscription service. But yeah, I mean, compared to like Xbox Game Pass and like PlayStation, whatever store thing, like Nintendo's is like, oh, here's like 5 games from like 1980s that you could have also played on the eShop or the one on the Wii, but we kind of canceled that one, so you have to buy them again. Well, you're not buying them again, but it's still there. Could
And
definitely be
also,
more on
also, these
there.
games are emulated because it's okay
And
when we
yeah,
do it.
yeah, there's like the save states and stuff like that, but I think that they did find out that it's like Nintendo's like where where did I hear about that? That they got the ROMs from some of these like quote unquote illegal, ROM sharing websites that Nintendo themselves like couldn't find them or they lost the original like
Oh
files. I
wow.
remember hearing about this. It was a couple of years back, but some people were digging into the code of some of these like online Nintendo online games, and it was like the ROM files were turns out were like from one of the emulation websites. But anyway, um,
I mean, it's their IP. They could do what
Like,
they want.
just checking. There's like a
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah.
TXT file for ROM Paradise on there.
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Coolroms.com.
Emu Paralysis. Oh
Whoops.
man. Uh, and then yeah, the last kind of Nintendo uh, that I got is like free melee still hashtags still going.
You thought
Um,
it was dead?
I
No.
thought it
Wait,
would
people are still playing
go
Melee after
away,
these days?
but apparently, because I was even watching some of these other the live stream, the
It's an
Sakurai's
illness.
live stream, and it was like every comment was like free melee, like Sakurai was gonna, okay guys, I'm reinstating the big house tournament. You guys can play online. You're welcome. I'm Mr.
Sakurai's
Sakurai.
like, man, I wish I never developed that game.
Yeah,
I think Sakurai knows
He
about
hates
what
Melee so much.
Does
like
he? Does
when you
he
get
I,
onto
I,
know
it,
about
I don't know.
these things?
he has to hate Melee at
Yeah.
this point. There's no way.
I mean, in all honesty,
He's
when
like,
was the last time? Sorry to interrupt, Corey.
oh, go
But
ahead.
when was the last time Nintendo actually gave us a quote unquote free game that wasn't part of the online service?
Well, the last thing I remember is when Club Nintendo was a thing, and you could actually like redeem each Nintendo game you buy for coins. which was similar to the system they have now, but it was actually good.
Yeah.
That's why they got rid of it, is because during the
Figuring it
early
out.
Wii U era and 3D and like 3DS era, you could redeem pretty much every purchase on Club Nintendo, and then you could take those points and get a free game out of it. Like I got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for free. I got WarioWare U. I don't remember
Yeah.
which that one was called. Yeah,
It was you.
WarioWare U. But and then I got New Super Mario Bros. And like a bunch of stuff there you could get. I mean, it wasn't really free since you technically have to buy a Nintendo game, but there was a rewards program, and that was actually like the closest thing I can think of.
Mm.
But keyword still wasn't free.
Yeah.
Like you still had to pay for the original Nintendo after 35 years. Not the Nintendo, the original Super Mario after 35 years.
Yep.
Oh yeah, was it March 31st is going to be the Thanos snap of
Yep.
was it
Wow,
like
that flew by.
Super Mario 35? I was listening to the Doug Bowser interview. I guess is on Polygon, and his explanation. He was such like a business like talk about it. It's like, oh, this is a celebration of Mario, so we want it to only be, a limited time exclusive celebration. It's like, what? That's that's not a good answer. He
That's
had a
not
lot
even
of
an.
these like
That was not even
business.
an answer, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like he was basically just dodging the question the entire time.
yeah, pretty much. They asked him about like Joy-Con drift and like a lot of these hard hitting questions, and he was like, well, we always seek to put the customer first, and our sales indicate that people are buying more Joy-Cons, so that's good for it
Because they
wasn't
stopped
exactly like
working.
that. But like if you read up, I mean, you'd have to like Google the interview, but it was pretty disappointing. A lot of just like, oh yeah, our sales figures in the third quarter are up 75%. So, we don't. They're asking about like a Nintendo Switch Pro to maybe try to compete with the other next gen games, console launches. He's like, well, the past 4 years have been pretty good, and it's the only one that can be like handheld. So, we don't really see needing to develop another one right
I mean to be
now.
fair,
It's like,
there's
mm,
no way Doug Bowser would be able to announce that before Japan
Yeah.
announces it themselves.
that's true as
Okay,
well.
he
Yeah.
can. He cannot. He's not. There's no way he'd be allowed to do that.
Has no power here.
Yeah. I really wish that they would have, I don't know, some more transparency or announce like something at least. But I think this is like the first time
I,
we've almost heard from Doug since he became CEO or
I don't think
whatever it was.
Nintendo of America has like any power in regards
Oh,
to like what Nintendo does a lot, or at least if they do, I don't know.
they have zero power, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. Like the only power I know is like their translations, and that's about it.
That may be about it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of going from one console to the next, then yeah, it turns out PS5 then for this past month of their new launch was the largest launch for any console in the US, which beat the previous record of the PS4. So that's good, but there were some problems. If you're trying to get a PS5 for Christmas, you may have a bad time.
Like was the launch like all of it legitimate customers, or were half of them scalpers?
Nah, there's no
Yeah,
way they
pretty
could
much.
filter those out. So they're just
No.
basing it on the bots too.
Yeah.
Hey, a purchase, a purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, so that biggest launch is a little skewed. Not that there weren't Switch scalpers too. There weren't Switch
Oh,
scalpers.
yeah.
I think there were, but
Those scalpers for any piece of technology this year.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember hearing actually an interview. Where did I hear about this? But the Sony CEO, they asked him recently about like, hey, what do you think about like the shortage of PS5s? And it was something. His response was something to the extent of like, well, we wanted the launch of the PS5 to be an experience, so you had to like get in on it. You couldn't just go and pick up one whenever. You had to pre-order and be and that just that's more frustrating than Bowser's. interview, and it's like these guys that want and like iPhones to be like a limited release to compare to something like that to make it a big experience or something. But it's like, dude, we're in a pandemic. Like people are already not having a fun time at all, and then now when you're like, telling little Tommy that he can't get the new whatever PS5 with bug snacks on it for
Well, little Tommy should
for
have waited
Christmas,
outside Best Buy at 4 a.m.
I guess.
No, little Tommy should have built a bot and scalped it for himself.
Oh
Exactly.
man,
Actually, it's
it's a
promoting
life lesson.
like it's promoting kids in STEM fields is what it's
But
doing.
Yeah,
Very
but to
complex.
be fair, Tommy, what exactly are you gonna do with that PS5 besides play Demon Souls and maybe like your old PS4 games with a better loading
He's
times?
he's gonna flip it. That's what he's gonna do.
but I don't know. It seemed
Oh
like a
dang.
better experience than Xbox right now.
Yeah, maybe, but like the thing with like buying a new console is that especially these days, people who buy the console on launch are basically beta testers.
Yeah, I mean, at least I mean, I would still give it to the PS5 though for having more value towards the launch than the PS4 did on launch. The PS4 like literally had nothing on launch and it wasn't even backwards compatible like the PS5 is.
Yeah,
So,
that is
like
pretty
literally
true.
it was dry.
Yeah, I didn't buy my PS4 until like Arkham Knight came out, and that was the only way to play Arkham Knight at the time because the PC port was god awful.
Yeah. And I mean the Xbox too. The Xbox One didn't get backwards compatibility till later into the generation it
Yeah,
started getting
a couple
backwards
of years in.
compatibility. I think on like year 2, maybe near
Yeah,
the end of year 1. But I mean initially it didn't have anything from what I remember. I think it launched with Forza, but that was about it.
it was
And
Forza, Rise, I think a few
yeah,
other
Rise.
games.
Everybody forgot about that.
Yeah,
Everybody forgot about Rise and the Order. Rise and the
Right?
Order,
Oh
nobody
God!
remembers.
Oh,
What
you mean
was
the
that?
Order 1886?
1984,
Yeah.
86.
Yeah,
Wrong year.
nobody wants to think about that game.
Dang.
Yeah, they wanted rid of those. They wanted rid of those games. But I mean, at least the Xbox, be that as it may, that it doesn't have any first party titles of note to launch with. It still has Game Pass, so you still get a big giant catalog to dive into from the get go. But I mean, the previous generation was awful launch.
What do you
yeah.
mean? They got Halo Infinite. Oh.
Well,
No,
No,
what
they don't.
we don't talk about that.
Oh.
infinitely delayed.
Divide by
By the way,
infinity or divide by zero. Oh wait.
yeah. By the way, Nick, did you also you also said something about like Parliament is like doing something to stop scalper
Yeah.
bots?
So that was
What?
something I was hearing about then too. UK that like I think they're the only guys that like care about video game laws these days in the world. They were like banning the was it like gotcha games and some stuff over there, which some
You mean you
people
can't play
like
Genshin Impact?
aren't happy about. Oh, I don't know. I just know like
No.
the EU is just trying to like crack down more on like uh predatory um
Um,
tactics that companies are using, and it turns out that they may be trying to fix like scalpers and stuff.
I think I don't. I think the whole weigh in on loot crates and stuff was more motivated by the fact that any kid could pick it up and fall into that kind of trap. And
Yeah,
I think that's more forcing the developers to up the ratings on the games potentially. I don't think
Yeah,
they flat out banned loot crate related games, but they
it was
increased the
considered as a
rating like
it was
mature.
considered as a form of gambling.
Yeah, they ruled it as a form of gambling.
yeah, because like addiction, and if the kids get like the parents, credit cards, and they don't know any better. It's like I know certain advertising in the states is like not allowed to be shown to kids because kids they until they reach like a certain age, child development like brain stuff, they just can't like differentiate between like, oh, this is a friend or family member telling me to do something, and oh, this is like a company that's telling me to buy Pepsi or whatever. Just like the mental like ability to differentiate this person's actually trying to get my money, um actually just isn't there yet. So that's very interesting.
Yeah,
And yeah,
imagine.
I haven't heard any like if it's actually happening yet, or what will be done, or what any sort of plan would be for future, because it's kind of like a one-off thing. There really aren't that many other, besides like a new phone release or a new computer release, that would have scalpers. I don't know. Besides like another video game console, like what else would scalpers be trying to get like this?
PC
I mean,
parts.
what else are scalpers going to like sell? Concert tickets?
Yes.
Oh yeah, right.
What?
Oof,
Sneakers, computer
Yeah.
parts.
PC parts, concert tickets,
I
everything.
guess.
Man,
But yeah,
bad.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that was
hey,
pretty much what I knew about.
Nick, you forgot some less depressing news that aren't about video game. And that's
Oh yeah.
Chainsaw Man anime, baby.
Whoa. I
Yeah,
heard that's
that's
coming
right,
out. Is it
guys. Your favorite.
January?
No, it's not gonna be that soon.
Oh,
Especially. Yeah, Chainsaw Man anime has been announced. It's your favorite Shonen Jump series about the man who fights demons with chainsaws and some other stuff that I won't spoil. Other than if you've seen a Quentin Tarantino-esque anime, well,
Beat?
well then here's another one for you. Apparently, at least that's what I hear from the fan base.
Yeah, I actually just finished reading it the other day. The first two English translation. But one spoiler: there's a lot of crotch punching, which I'm down for. Do we
so
know what studio is?
Yes, it's Mappa, aka the new
okay.
Madhouse, aka the guys who are making the new Attack on Titan season and Jujutsu Kaisen.
I was gonna say, does this
They
guy
also
fight
made
the
that.
guy from No Guns Life? That has the head that's the gun, or is that's not a crossover?
We
Well,
don't talk. We don't
Dang it.
talk about that anime, Nick,
Oh,
because nobody cares about it.
dang.
isn't like the
That's like a
major
typo.
enemy he
Yeah.
fights is like well the overarching enemy is like the gun demon or something in Chainsaw
Yeah.
Man. So close tie-in. There's definitely some indirect tie-in there that they don't want to announce just yet. But you know he may get a cameo. Gunman may get a cameo.
Yeah, we'll have to wait a little more we'll have to wait a little longer to like know how Chainsaw Man will actually look, especially considering how rough the art looks if you've read the manga.
Yeah, it's spotty. It comes and goes. Like I
But
feel like
speaking of
sometimes he just
people,
falls down. Oh yeah, go ahead. What's up?
But yeah, speaking of people that can turn their limbs into weapons, so how'd that Cyberpunk launch go, you guys?
Oh man.
Smooth transition,
Oof.
Nick. Smooth transition.
Like that's pretty good. Unlike the game though. Well, I mean, I've heard good and bad things about it, but
I think
Well, basically avoid the console launches. They are shit.
yeah, pretty much. I think only me and Jamar have been playing Cyberpunk. Is that right?
That's probably right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't played it.
I saw some videos, but I don't have a console. Maybe my laptop can
Oh,
run it, but
It
from
won't
probably
run
not.
it.
yeah,
Probably
it's
not.
Run it.
from my
Still-
point of view, I didn't. I don't want to say I lined up a custom built PC for this release, but I pretty much did. So I was pretty much ready for the game being spec demanding. That being said, if you have any experience with CDPR games, like CD Projekt Red's games never ran great. None of them.
Yeah, Witcher 3 took a little while to get all the bugs ironed out.
And there's still some that last on my PS4 that I just have to, grit and bear it.
Well, yeah, that's the PS4, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's a bigger issue. It's like, should they be releasing games for consoles that just can't run something optimally or, are still full of bugs?
At this point, the PS4 is really dated hardware. It's just
Yeah.
it was
mean,
just inevitable given how long the development cycle for that was, and with all the crunch time and crap.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, I have to like weigh in on them not like still releasing for last gen anyway, regardless of them knowing that it's not going to run optimally. So, I mean, I feel like they should have released it on the PS5 and Series X exclusively and just kind of cut PS4 and Xbox One out. So that just kind of looks like that kind of looks silly. I don't know how it runs on a Pro. I don't know anybody who has picked it up for the Pro,
mean, it
but
has been removed from the Sony PlayStation Store right now, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's today. I heard about
Yeah.
that.
But Corey, what kind of computer are you running Cyberpunk on, and what resolution you're using?
I have the latest 10 series Intel processor with the I have an i7 10700K, I think, and I have the AMD 6800 XT. So I'm definitely in the margin that could run the game really well. Be that as it may, it is an AMD GPU, and this is a NVIDIA optimized game. So even though I am running it on, you know, ultra settings in 4K, I'm not actually able to enable DLSS and the NVIDIA
Ray
ray
tracing?
tracing. They do actually have a Fidelity FX option on there for some reason.
Yeah. So
So
I'll just tell you about like my system and kind of my experience with it. So I ended up building a new machine for work and video games. So I'm running AMD Threadripper processor, the 3970, which is 32 cores, 64 logical threads. I have a 3090 NVIDIA graphics card, and my system can't run Cyberpunk natively in 4K above 50 frames a second.
yeah, no graphics card right now can. Pretty
Which,
much everybody's locked at around 40 to 45 roughly.
yeah. So I'm lucky that I have AI upscaling with DLSS, because that's when you can actually get the 100 frames, the 90 frames in 4K. But without it, nothing can run it. And it's one of those things when I'll just go into like the whole kind of quick production of Cyberpunk. This game been in development for the past 8 years, and things change. But when the new generation of consoles are coming, and you get the dev kits, and you see what you've been producing and how it shows up on last generation, that's when you should probably like cut the plug.
Yeah,
Because yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna chime in that I don't know if it's been 8 years of development. It was probably more around 4 to 4.5 because they did wrap up the Witcher 3 DLC sometime around what 2016, 2017.
Yeah, it was announced in 2012.
So it was announced, but I mean it's still a smallish sized team. I can't imagine they had I can't imagine they had most of their team working on Cyberpunk until they wrapped up Witcher 3 entirely. But, regardless, I definitely agree that, when you're pushing the end of a generation like that, um, I mean, clearly they had to have known from their testing that it's not running well on PS4 and Xbox One. It doesn't make sense why they pushed through it other
So
than
did
to
you
make
hear
money.
about like the reviewers were only allowed to like review uh copies on the computer or on the PC? Like they weren't able to play like console
Yeah,
copies, I heard.
and
Yeah,
they were poorly optimized
Yeah.
as well due to the fact that they were DRM enabled. So it really hurt the performance of the game. So we couldn't even take the reviews seriously at the time because
Oh man.
the DRM enabled made so many bugs appear from the reviews I read that I didn't even take it seriously at the
yeah.
time.
And what made it crazy is it was basically CD Projekt Red doing all the versions themselves. None of it was outsourced. So to have that many SKUs working at the same time is it's pure madness.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't outsource it. I forget who publishes it. Is it Warner?
It's Warner.
Yeah, they definitely should have chimed into
Might be on the
like,
box.
yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely should have helped them out by getting some other teams on the project to be able to develop for those other consoles. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully some optimization patches come out for Xbox One and PS4. I doubt it will help. I think a lot of the people who are on Xbox One and PS4 probably have lost their trust at this point. But um I I can't imagine them pulling out entirely on making it a playable experience on those consoles, but right now it's
No,
just not doable.
they're gonna live and die by this game, and for them to they won't pull out. They will support it for the next couple of years until it's kind of playable on the last generation consoles. Because keep in mind, that's still the majority share of the consoles until production ramp up in the next few months for the PS5 and Xbox.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, they have to cater to that market because that's where the lion's share of the money is going to come from.
Yeah, most people
exactly.
that are playing it like have those consoles, or like not as many people. Maybe they thought PS5 would be like a more adopted or like more widespread people would be playing it on that, but that's not everyone like felt the need to buy a PS5 if they already had a PS4. And you said, that the game could run on this console that I have, so why would I go buy another console, right?
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
I'm
Jamar, I don't know if you encountered any bugs, but I
um
mine have been minor, mainly minor. It's kind of model issues here and there where you'll see somebody holding the shot glass or smoking a cigar, and the cigar is like a couple feet away from the person. Um, Outside of that, the only major bug I've had is the save bug that I've had where I can't manually save or manually load. So I can only quick save and then continue from the home screen. I can't actually load a game up manually. So that's been a bit immersion breaking for an RPG for obvious reasons.
yeah,
But I've kind of trucked through it anyway to just kind of get the feel for the game. So
I guess for me, like, I didn't have any like experience breaking bugs per se. I did have the piss wizard when somebody's taking a leak on the building, and then all of a sudden it starts flying up in the air. Um, have a couple of vehicles just float in the air, and like you said, like floating drinks and cigarette.
yeah, yeah. So not too bad,
Yeah.
honestly, all things considered. I definitely think the game could have used one, maybe 2 more months of QA, definitely.
Mm, I
But
think it needed a year.
I don't, I don't know. It's hard to say considering how much time they've had in development already. That I don't know how much leeway they're working with their publisher to get this game out. It
Well,
probably
more
wasn't a lot of
importantly,
time,
yeah, more
but
importantly, it's also the shareholders they have to
yeah,
report to.
yeah,
So if they keep saying the game's going to be delayed, that's money lost. But at the same time, if you know your product's not ready and your team's been working crunch over the past year, and this is what you produce for last gen, and current PC technology, it really shows like where priorities were at.
yeah, and that's just a recurring issue in the game industry for sure. That just publishers need to give more breathing room for developers to make something that you know they they all agree is the final product. And not to like toot Sony's horn, but it really feels like they've got that down right now for their subsidiary studios, like Gorilla or like Santa Monica Games or like at Sucker Punch. Um, Not saying they're bug free, of course not, but out of the first party games that I can think off the top of my head, Sony's had a really good run with giving the developers ample time to release something that they feel is special.
I don't know. I
But
think I would say also Microsoft and Nintendo when you think about their especially Nintendo with their intellectual properties. They just don't
Yeah,
ship out something.
yeah,
And well,
that's a good point. Nintendo for sure never really releases something they don't feel is ready, and we saw that with Animal Crossing for
and
sure.
Metroid,
Yeah,
which
and
is
well, Metroid is gonna be
Oh,
delayed into hell and back, but
Metroid 4, yeah, they got a whole new studio or something like
yeah,
that.
well, yeah,
yeah,
they
Oh
outsourced
gosh.
it to if I remember correctly, Bandai Namco Singapore for some reason. They outsourced some of the assets to them, and then they like completely fired them off the job and started from scratch.
Oh,
yeah.
oh
But
But
wow.
I mean, Bandai
yeah,
Namco Singapore did a lot of work for them previously. Like they helped with Smash Bros. Ultimate and the
hmm,
previous
Yeah.
one. So
yeah. So yeah, who knows? That's kind of a whole other rabbit hole in its own, just to talk about all the stuff Nintendo's got under the hood, and Microsoft as well. But speaking of Microsoft though and Sony, did you hear about them refunding the game as well? I actually
Oh,
heard
I
today
heard.
that that Sony took it off the store entirely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we already talked about the Sony remove thing, but yes, I've heard that they're also refunding the game now.
yeah, I think it's just crazy to take it off the store though. I mean, I know recently Sony's been buckling a bit with its fan base, but that's a bit crazy in my opinion.
I
A
mean,
bit much.
but for Sony to actually do a refund, that's
Yeah.
speaks volumes to itself because
Didn't it take a
how
long time for them to agree to the refund though? Like, weren't they refusing some time ago?
CDPR or Sony?
I think I
I
remember Sony at first wasn't. Or like CDPR was like, hey, yeah, email us and we'll figure out the refund. But they didn't really like confirm that with Microsoft and Sony. But then now, a couple days later, then Sony is like, yeah, or the Sony EIT, whatever their other division is like, yeah, we'll give you a full refund, and we're also gonna take the game off the store, at least presumably until
Yeah,
it's
until everything dies
got
down,
some
probably.
bugs
yeah,
fixed. Like it's gonna be back on the store, eventually, but it's still a really bad look for any developer, any company that has a game like actually physically. Well, I mean, not physically, of course, but pulled off of the store because it's so unplayable at that type of level.
yeah, I mean it's a smart move.
Yeah, it's more like damage control at this point, but I can't remember any time that's ever happened before. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean they're straight up trash in like the old school PlayStation 3 store
The only game I
from
can think
Steam.
deserved that was No Man's Sky, off the top of my head.
That's something that I've been really getting vibes of. Like,
This release.
yeah, I mean,
No Man's
eventually,
Sky was a big
yeah,
like coming back from the brink of death.
yeah.
For
Hello Games managed to pull it together, managed to
Yeah,
put their spaceship back together with duct tape, and
Yeah.
eventually, I mean, like these days, it's pretty highly acclaimed, all the features and stuff.
Yeah,
But
and they
on
won an
release,
award for it.
apparently, yeah, he wasn't
what?
at
Yeah.
the Game Awards. I
yeah.
forgot what award it
Yeah.
was.
Do we want to talk about some of those awards, guys?
Oh, Game Awards. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh
sure.
god, no, no,
Oh, but
It's time,
no,
no.
Justin.
it was
The
fun.
nightmares.
Game
The
Awards. I look forward to
nightmares.
that every year. I mark my calendar. I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you actually watch the Game Awards, Corey?
I watched about an hour and a half live, and then I fell asleep.
while you're a trooper. I just read the
Um,
highlights.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that I
I was
think
there for the whole thing. It was a mistake.
what was a bit I always hate it when they do this, but they kind of like one off a lot of awards in the pre-show and just don't really give
Yeah.
them like the time of day, and I really hate that because a lot of the games that they announce the awards for that way could have needed the popularity or could have needed, the screen time, or I was at least interested in it.
Yeah,
So
it's a
I
lot of
always
like
hate that
indie
they do
games and
that.
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, the game trailers got more screen time than a bunch of those
Oh, there was so
awards.
many
Yeah,
trailers this year. I don't know if I ever remember a year that had that many trailers.
Well, that's because the Game Awards is basically the new E3 now that E3 is basically dead.
Yeah. Um
E3 been
I
dead for like years.
I mean, people have been
Yes,
hating
the
E3 for a long time.
But 2020 was the final blow. It was like, yeah, we can't even host E3 this year, so let's just do it at the Game Awards. And I don't know about you, but of the trailers that I saw, like some of them were okay, but like very few were actually memorable.
But could we talk about the one that does matter?
Yeah,
Yes. Which one were you talking about?
I don't know.
Perfect Dark.
One Wing.
Smash Bros.
Yeah, there you go.
Was that trailer?
Yes, the main reason to watch the Game Awards, and it was at the very beginning, so you might as well have just turned it off after that.
Come on, guys. You're telling
Yeah,
me
I'm back in Smash, going pro.
I know, yeah. Once Sephiroth was announced, I started playing Smash again, and I've actually gotten him now. Yeah, I got him early
on
Nice.
normal
challenge.
difficulty though. Sorry, I have not
in my
beat him on it very
defense-
hard. I'm ashamed.
In
My
my
gamer
defense,
status.
I almost beat him on very hard. He had like 10% health left, but then he's Sephiroth, okay? He always comes back.
So almost like how PS4 could run Cyberpunk.
Yeah, more like how PC can run Cyberpunk done free. I mean, with bug free. But yes, I remember that was a pretty hype moment. I think a lot of people, like, whenever I see people post their reactions to the Game Awards, it's really just their reaction to Sephiroth. That's pretty much it.
I was one of the people that wish the Smash fans would leave chat.
Yeah.
The whole
Yeah,
time they're like X for
Free.
Smash, and then everybody's like, okay, we get it. You want the new Smash character announcement? Please calm down.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before. It really feels like it's like a lot of like younger kids like just got Twitter and they're like, oh, I can say hashtag free melee 100 times and my mom isn't here to stop me from typing this in chat over and over. It's like
Do you even know what Melee is?
they weren't alive during
No, they probably weren't.
saying
Yeah.
it.
They probably well, I don't want to speak for an audience. I don't know. Like they might have their own reasons. Like did you know that like when it came to like streaming the Game Awards on Twitch, more people watched XQC stream the Game Awards than they did the actual Game Awards Twitch stream. Like he had over 120 he had over 120K viewers on his stream when he was reacting to the Game Awards, and on the Game Awards itself, only 80K people were on that.
That's just more interesting than Jeff's straight face the whole time.
I know.
Straight face and looks like he hasn't had sleep for weeks.
Yes, because
They had
love
those
him,
sneakers.
love him or hate him, you cannot deny XQC is a unique brand of stupid that you're just not going to get anywhere. And people just love that about him, and that's why people like watch his streams, because he is one of a kind in a lot of different ways. Most of them unintentionally hilarious. But this isn't about XQC. This is about the Game Awards. And
Yeah, it just felt like there wasn't as much for all of like Jeff's like planning and he'd been waiting all year for he wanted to host this and all, but it just wasn't very like organized. It was like, okay, here's one award, but then like here's
Oh,
three
they do that
trailers,
every year though.
and then
That's
like
Yeah.
there's
every
another
year.
award. It's
They
like,
do that every year.
they had
Walked
Game of
out.
the Year at the end, but like
Oh, that's what they do. They keep you around for the
surprisingly,
end.
Yeah.
I would have thought that one almost would have come in the middle, but like,
Yeah. I used to turn this into a drinking game every year, but due to COVID, couldn't do it. But maybe next year. Maybe next year. But
Yeah.
while we're on the topic of announcements, I do want to talk about the things I care about. So there was a Perfect Dark remake in development. Well,
yes.
I don't think it's a remake actually. I think it's its own game.
It's a brand new
Yeah, it's a brand new
game
Perfect Dark.
from the new studio, the Initiative at Microsoft.
Oh, wow! I actually didn't know that. I thought it was Rare doing it again, but I guess
Rare only does Sea of Thieves.
oh,
they
God.
can't-
They're making like that FIFA game,
right.
I think.
They're still trying to break even on Sea of Thieves to this day.
They can never make a game from their IP again. That's the curse they got from
I-
Microsoft.
yeah, Microsoft's done such a good job with Rare. We've had great games like Nuts and Bolts, Viva Pinata, Sea of Thieves.
Wii music? No, wait. I feel like they did like a Wii Music knockoff for.
One day, I think one day Microsoft will figure out how to use Rare correctly. But one
Yes.
day.
It will
Googly
not
eyes.
be today.
Also, we had the return of BioWare. With
What?
the yeah.
But is
I-
is that the return of actual BioWare?
Well, no.
Or
No.
I'm getting to that part.
All
We
right.
saw a Mass Effect teaser and another trailer for Dragon Age, which I didn't expect to actually come out. I didn't even. I thought the only teaser for BioWare would be the company closing.
I thought they were closed.
I mean, they pretty much are in spirit because most of the actual BioWare staff, that have been with them for years left during the mess that was Andromeda, and then for the ones that trucked through Andromeda, they were greeted with Anthem, and then even more left during Anthem. They're like, yeah, I'm done. So whether or
BioWare, more
not,
like BioWare. Okay, that's really bad.
okay, well,
Sorry.
don't worry, we'll clip it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
yeah, don't leave that in. Okay.
But no, I do agree. I'm actually happy that they're trying it again with Mass Effect and bringing back Dragon Age, because usually with EA, if you're not making money, you go in the dumpster.
Yeah, that's the scary part. After Anthem, I really did think they were gonna close because around the time Andromeda came out and Anthem came out, the past couple of years, EA was closing studios left and right. They closed the studio that was it Pandemic Games, I think is the name of it. But I'll have to actually look. I know Visceral Games they closed, and that was the studio that did Dead Space.
Yeah.
Because Dead Space 3's multiplayer just didn't make enough money. Oh, shocker.
Multiplayer.
But what makes
Yeah.
it crazy is like EA was in the black, but yet they closed down studios.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They closed down Maxis. That made me so mad because I loved Maxis.
Yeah, SimCity.
Yeah, I mean the original developer of Sims, you're gonna close and then still run with Sims. That's just so mean.
Just dragging a dead body along.
It's corporate
Yeah.
levels of petty at that point.
And then yeah, Pandemic Studios was the original developer of Battlefront. But yeah. But that's that's its own thing. I mean everybody knows EA sucks. But we also had announcements for Arc 2, which I don't care about because that's a lot of time
I
sink.
don't even know
Starring
what
Vin
Ark
Diesel.
is.
Yeah, I didn't know Vin Diesel was in Arc. Actually, that
It's
was a
like
surprise.
Minecraft, but like with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's hard to.
What if like going
Explain.
forward, developers are just gonna start camoing like big celebrities for serious roles in games, and that's just gonna be how it's gonna go. I mean, we've seen it with Death Stranding,
Like
we
Death
saw it with Cyberpunk, and like, is just gonna keep going? I don't know how I feel about that. It could go south really quickly.
Yeah, but that's how you get people drawn in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Even-
surprised it took them this long.
Dang. But like, I feel like that was a criticism of the Game Awards itself. Is like they're trying to be too much like
Trendy.
Hollywood, like the Golden Globes. Is that the one for movies? Academy Awards.
Oscars.
Golden Globes
Oscars,
is
yeah.
yes.
for
Golden
TV,
Globes
I
is
think,
shows.
isn't it?
One of those.
Yeah,
Oh,
Golden
yeah,
Globes is shows.
awards shows.
I mean, the Oscars are kind of shit as it is, so
And it's like, yeah, why are they trying to copy those other award shows and not like be their own thing? Like they kind of are sort of doing their own thing, but like with the here's this celebrity that's like not involved with the game at all, like Gal Gadot. Like, I mean, it's cool, to see her and all, but like maybe why not have like a developer of one of the games like reading an award or
Because-
Sakurai
Yeah,
or
they
someone
did
like
that, but then they found out really quickly developers aren't good PR people.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah.
They just get up there and they're
Maybe
like,
this is a bigger issue than I
Why am I
realized.
not surprised?
yeah.
And I'm sure they're basing it off of viewership because most of the time when developers get up there and talk a lot of like technical, do a bunch of like technical aspects of the game, and you're not seeing a whole lot of gameplay, people tune out. I
Unless it's like
remember,
Mark Cerny.
yeah. Well, no, people definitely tune out for Mark Cerny.
Oh no, I love his velvety voice talking about blast processors
Oh
itself.
God, I like literally fell asleep during that whole lecture. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good point though. I don't. I That's an interesting direction they're starting to take. I mean, we've definitely seen celebrities there before, obviously with uh, what's the Death Stranding guy's name again?
You mean
Hideo
Norman
Kojima?
Reedus? Norman Reedus?
Nah. Yeah, Norman Reedus. Like Norman Reedus was there
Actor.
multiple times during the development of Death
That
Stranding,
guy.
and
Keanu Reeves then too with Cyberpunk too.
yeah, yeah. So I
I
mean,
mean, it makes
we're
sense
gonna
for
see
them to
more,
be there, but
but
I'm surprised they didn't get like. Was Vin Diesel there when they announced the Fast and the Furious game last year?
no. It was
Okay,
actually
that,
a
that
He
was
was
a
there for
missed
his own
opportunity.
game, but he
it
was there
was a
for
YouTuber that announced it, and it was either it was either a YouTuber or I'm thinking of the new Need for Speed, but it was a really interesting announcement at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's it. Why the heck would you end with that?
yeah,
I'm not sure if you guys know, but Vin Diesel actually had a video game studio because he's actually really into video games.
no, I didn't
So
know
with
Forgot.
that.
this
I
one,
only know about his
yeah, did he
Riddick video
buy
game.
this? I feel like I heard about that. Like the reason why, to back up a couple lines, I think he like bought his way into this. Like he's into video games and he like wanted to be in a game of some sort, so he like bought the studio that made Ark or like
Oh
a
wow.
controlling share or something. I wish I had more details. I didn't put that one in the script here, but
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
We're not
Uh,
supposed to let people
it's
know that we have
Tegan.
a
Yeah, it's Tegan Studios is the one he has, and they made the Riddick games, Wheelman, another Riddick game, and he's actually in that Fast and Furious game, Crossroads.
Hmm.
So
I don't know that.
Eh.
Well,
Vin Diesel. Is there anything you can't do?
Like,
act.
yeah, I don't want to like hark
Oh
on
yeah, true.
Vinny here
Every
too
time
much,
he's
but
in, every time he's in something, you're aware it's Vin Diesel. So
wow.
yeah.
that was just so like
We've
uncanny watching the trailer. That's like, wait, that's been. Is this a new like Scorpion King movie or wait? What's this?
well, y'all, we put it off long enough. I guess we got to talk about the awards.
Do we?
They were crap. What else do you want to say? A lot of them were rushed, and like first of all, the awards only took up like what, maybe 20 minutes of screen time out of
Oh
the
yeah, I
3
mean
hours.
that's by design, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and when it comes to the actual awards, was anyone else kind of were there any ones that were rushed that you were just really annoyed at? There's like, why was this rushed?
Um, I'm trying to remember which ones in particular. I think it
Like,
was
I know Best Family was one that was like, really? The one a category that has stuff like Crash Bandicoot 4 and Paper Mario the Origami King, and of course Animal Crossing was going to win, but it's like, but that one, I remember that one just being kind of like, oh yeah, we're just throwing this in here. Whew.
I think it was best strategy. I thought was really briefly just kind of glossed over, and best family as
Microsoft
well, I
Flight
think,
Simulator.
right? I don't
Yeah.
remember them really diving into Animal Crossing, which won best family award.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like it could have won Game of the Year. It was robbed. Not,
and if
not really.
you're a sports and racing game fan, they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. That was right. Funny enough, the one that got a lot of attention and yet not enough attention was the fighting game category, because they got like the the Cobra Kai actors to like read the nominees
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
and say that, but they didn't actually list the names. They just had Ralph Macchio read the, and another actor that I don't remember the name.
Oh
of.
yeah, it wasn't like a
Read the
fake
nom-
out where it's like the other guy actually had the envelope
Yeah, it's like,
or something. And it's like, aha, I
yeah.
pulled my
No,
double dragon
that
move.
yeah, that got
Like,
special attention, but they didn't actually say they didn't when they said the names, they didn't actually display the names on the screen.
Hmm.
So if you're deaf, you would not be able to know what they were saying. And the fighting game nominations, well, let's put it this way: when the One Punch Man fighting game is nominated for best fighting game of the year, that means that and the other two nominations are basically an updated version of Mortal Kombat and an updated version of Street Fighter. That's when you know
Yeah,
2020 was not a good year for fighting games.
I mean, technically, the only real fighting game that came out this year was Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Yeah.
And like you said, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, there's just new SKUs. Like, yeah, they added stuff, but they were last year.
What about Under Night In-Birth?
That's also an update.
What?
Is it?
Yeah,
It's hard to know when they just expand on the name with every release.
yeah. For every
Yeah.
syllable, it's a new game.
Oh god.
And seriously, One Punch Man fighting game, that piece of crap game, you might as well put in the My Hero Academia 2 fighting game if you're going to go that far.
I mean, we're not trying to talk about the trash awards, but I guess when you look at the fighting game category, Mortal Kombat does deserve to win because that was actually kind of stretched out story. They added more characters, they balanced it out compared to like Street Fighter, which been kind of on its grave since 2016.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like I get why Mortal Kombat won that, but the point is like you tell that 2020 was and I guess people just really aren't making fighting games these days anymore in general. Like
You
I
guys,
can't think of the last time.
you guys seem to
Um,
forget in 2016 Witcher Blood and Wine won best RPG of the year, so it's definitely not it's definitely not something foreign to the Game Awards to give it to just something to a game that's already been released.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of these
Or
don't
to
even have to release in
DLC, so to
2020.
speak.
but I
Yeah.
think you could play Blood and Wine separate.
You can.
Yeah.
You can kind of get shoved in as a pre-made character.
There you go. New game. Give me the award.
But yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Any other awards? Everybody's like, wow, that sucks.
I think we need to get to the meat of potatoes.
All
What
right.
won for the year of
Of
2020?
course, Last of Us Part 2.
What?
Yeah. The game everybody loved this year, right?
Wait,
I feel like that was 2020. It was The Last of Us fighting
Yeah.
the
I keep
zombies.
hearing so many conflicting reports on whether Last of Us 2 actually sold. Well, it didn't sell poorly because everyone knows it sold well, but
Oh,
I
it
keep
sold
hearing
great.
conflicting reports on whether like lots of people hate Last of Us 2 or the people who just love Last of Us 2 are just getting drowned out by the haters.
Like literally drowned.
Yeah, because it's like it's just so hard to tell because it won fan voted awards as well. So it's not just critic bias.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like it's so there's so many loud voices on both sides of this controversy for The Last of Us Part 2 being good, bad, a mockery that I just have to play it and figure it out for myself.
I guess, has anybody actually played it here?
Yeah, I've been playing it, and I can tell you right now that I like it the least out of the nominations. Mostly
And I
because
agree with you.
mostly because of the gameplay. It's just the same gameplay as the first one.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Which was pretty sluggish back then.
The
and it's
scariest
sluggish
part of Last
now.
of Us is the gameplay.
Yeah,
But the
that's
story, the
Not
enriching
the
story.
zombies. Oh, is that?
I go like, but it's a game. Like it should be like yeah, and it's not like the other games weren't delivering on the story. Like even Animal Crossing New Horizons, like with Tom Nook's thing, it's not a
The
deep
true villain.
story or anything, but it is technically a story, and it's a pretty decently told one.
Well,
I mean, I feel like a lot of the like backlash hate came because it was at least the main plot was kind of leaked beforehand, and a lot of
Yeah,
it
those
then was
leaks
like
were
yeah,
terrible.
it
taken out
was.
of context, and you don't really know, but you just
Yeah,
know,
that was.
this guy dies, and everyone's like, "What? That guy? That's my favorite guy," and without fully experiencing. But from what I've heard, the people that have experienced it, they still didn't like it. I mean, even people that avoided the leaks, they're still like, well, why did you
Yeah.
guys do this with the story? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, with Final Fantasy Remake, we all kind of knows what happens to one of the characters, but that didn't take away from the experience.
whoa, don't spoil anything, man.
Sakurai
But
even kind of spoiled it himself, but
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
but
see.
I'm not gonna like shit on The Last of Us 2 too much, because there's probably people who are listening to this that like the game, and I'm not saying it's absolutely horrible or anything like that. But yeah, winning that many awards, like there's some awards, like it's kind of like when Yuri on Ice won all those awards at the first
Oh,
Crunchyroll
the first Crunchyroll, yeah.
award show,
Oh
and then
my
now
god.
here with Academia and the next two. It was winning awards that I didn't feel like it deserved to win. Like some of them, like best voice actor, okay, I mean best performance.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
cool.
that
Yeah.
plays to the part of the story. That's its strong point.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a strong point. But it was winning awards that I didn't feel like were its strong points. And
But
Like for me, I'm like best narrative actually makes sense. Like best narrative, I'd be like, okay, Last of Us Part 2, that's actually like what like 90% of the game is the narrative.
but what does it deserve to win Game of the Year? I'm saying no, but what's your take?
Like I said, I would have preferred Animal Crossing win that over Last of Us. And I mean, like I said, now I haven't played all the nominations, but of the ones I have played, it is my least favorite of the choices so far.
Yeah,
I
you guys are really enjoying Hades too, right?
Yes,
yeah,
I am.
I think Hades should have won. I think it gave a freshest new experience to a roguelike. I love the story, the art direction, and like out of all the games, especially all the AAA, I think it had the most passion and creative direction, and that's just my opinion. And I think second probably would be Animal Crosses. When you think about the phenomena of 2020, how many people were hanging out on each other's island?
I mean, it was like banned for like political parties using
Yeah,
it like
Yeah.
globally. Like,
Ni-
that's
Nintendo will lawyer up if you try to run for mayor in Animal Crossing.
apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what I will say though, one thing I did like about the Game of Year nominations and the nominees when that category was coming up was the orchestra. I did like how they were playing orchestral like pieces of like
Yeah,
all the
that's my
different
favorite part
games.
every year. The year they did, they got the orchestra for Nier Automata was my favorite year. I was
Mhm.
like,
Oh,
I was so into it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, the musical performances, a good chunk of them were decent. The Mario Orchestra was decent. The Persona 5 one where they got Lynn was cool. The
Yeah,
Last of Us 2 one, the longest
there's
one
that guy
though.
on the guitar.
I
Or what
like
was that?
I'm sorry, but I didn't think that song was good. Like the performance itself was fun, but I don't like the song. And they played the entire song
It went
too.
on
yeah.
way too long. It was like, oh, here's a cool reference from the game, but like that wasn't really.
I think for me, um, out of the nominees here, which are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII, Ghost of Tsushima,
Mhm.
Hades, Animal Crossing, New Horizon, and Last of Us Part 2, I would probably say Hades for me.
Mhm.
And this is the fact that I haven't played any of these this year. I'm always late. I always play after the Game Awards. All of these games most of the time.
Good choice
Um,
for the record.
Mainly because I just don't usually buy into games on release most of the time, with exception of Cyberpunk. But um, so I'm always a late adopter to these kind of things. But for me, Hades mainly because I've played every game Supergiant's released up to this point, and I've just always loved their art style. I've always loved their stories, and most of all, I love their music the most. The composer they have, whose name escapes me right now, is just all of his stuff is so good.
Yeah,
Ever since Bastion, I've been on board with their soundtracks,
same
and
here.
especially because this is a roguelike. I'm really excited to dive into Hades soon.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Hades definitely deserves some recognition for like being a very unique game. Like I feel like Supergiant game shouldn't even be an indie studio anymore at this
At
point.
this point, yeah, they're very experienced, but
They still feel like an indie studio to me, but I get what you're saying.
I mean,
They've been in
they
the business for
are,
a while.
yeah.
but
Um,
it's like they put out so many big critical hits now. It's like why are they like why do we even recognize them as indie studio anymore? Even though I think
yeah.
they're still the
Well,
size one.
you gotta think about the size and the budget.
Yeah.
Outside
Yeah,
of that,
and the
yeah,
fact
what is
that
the
we don't
next step for
really
them?
want super giant games to like be swallowed up by like the big corporations
Yeah,
and like
Microsoft
lose their
buying them or
mention.
yeah,
something.
that
I
that would be a
I
nightmare.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't
But
I
either,
could see it
but it
happening.
would be a nightmare actually.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
also,
I would say Ghost of Tsushima. If that would be my second
Everyone
place, mainly
wants.
because just Sucker Punch was on Infamous for so long, and then just to kind of break through with that completely different setting, completely different, just something out of their safe zone entirely. Um, for it to be a smash hit like that, I thought they deserve some props for that for sure.
Yeah, believe me when I say that so many people wanted Ghost of Tsushima to win. It even won like Player's Choice at the Game Awards.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's right.
yeah, and like everybody, like if you go on like YouTube and whenever someone says what would you have preferred to win, the majority of them would have said Ghost of Tsushima.
That game's been hyped since like the first reveal for it back
Mhm.
E3, whenever a couple years ago. And yeah, from what I saw, it is absolutely beautiful.
yeah.
All the different
Yeah,
gameplay elements
yes.
of it.
They did win Best Art Direction.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's good.
Good.
I'm glad it won that. Yeah. And I'm also really glad that Final Fantasy VII Remake won Best Score in Music because that remade music was mwah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
That
I
was
would definitely have
great.
given it to, I mean, Animal Crossing, but that's kind of its own category. But also, I could have seen Final Fantasy VII like taking Game of the Year as well. But
That's true.
maybe just because it's like
Like I would have
not
preferred
really
any of the games
faithful.
win over Last of Us 2. Well, Doom
Yeah,
Eternal maybe not because I've heard
No,
that it's not as good as the first one.
yeah,
yeah,
Doom
that's kind of a
Eternal
more.
is pretty
Eh,
weak.
it was a game that came out this year, I guess.
It was a video game, and it's a shame because Doom 2016 was actually really phenomenal. I just finished it a month ago because I kind of always like put it in the back burner. It was a fun game, and when I was able to get it for free this year, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll start playing it. It left a lot to be desired because they
Oh,
start
huh.
kind of putting platforming into it, which is weird with the combat.
Yes,
So
right.
I
Doom
thought
Eternal is really made for platforming.
I heard that I remember hearing from people that they liked Doom Eternal more than 2016, so that's
yeah,
surprising.
I've mostly heard the opposite
Hmm.
in my circles that Doom Eternal like and the ones that I have heard that said Doom Eternal is better than Doom are more like the casual crowd.
Yeah.
no,
Right.
I've been playing Doom since what, 94? I'm dating myself. But out of all the games, I feel like that shouldn't have been up there.
Yeah.
They
And
could have just had those 5 games: Final Fantasy, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, and The Last of Us as the game of the year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
like
Hiroshima to Tsushima,
like
Tsushima,
if there was like something to put as the sixth
Street
spot to
Shima.
replace Doom Eternal, like I'm not really sure what it would be like because like I know Half-Life Alex is hype, but not many people are going to play that because of
that's very
VR.
niche. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Justin, did you see the
and
speed run of it? Oh, you
oh
gotta
oh
check
no,
that out.
I still haven't seen
Oh
it,
my gosh,
but
it's so
yeah,
hilarious. Half-Life Alex speedrun. Like the guy's gotta like jump up
hmm
and like run
yeah,
around with the VR goggles on his head. It's hilarious. But anyway,
yeah. So I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, while Doom Eternal was a very hyped game, there's just it was pretty polarizing and whether it was an improvement on the original Doom or not, and if it really deserved to like be on the game of the year. I personally, from what I've heard, because I haven't played it myself, I don't think it did, but
Mm.
that's a whole other can of worms. Yeah,
Um.
and also regards to like the other Last of Us 2 awards, I get that like some of them like I also get that some of them are because like some of the other games are that compete against were a little too niche.
Mhm.
But like but you know like Last of Us 2 Part 2 was competing with Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy 7 Remake for a majority of these awards. Like most of these categories, those three were in the same in the same thing.
Yeah, it seemed like the default. Like, okay,
Yeah.
put those 3 up there, and then like
Except for
I
audio
feel like
design,
you've highlighted, yeah, at least
audio
one.
design, Resident Evil 3 was actually there, and I
Yeah.
haven't played 3 yet, but the previous year, best audio design, if I remember correctly, Resident Evil 2 won.
Mhm.
And you
Considering
know,
Resident Evil 3 was kind of just more Resident Evil 2, it
Yeah.
probably didn't deserve to win.
well, the thing is with Resident Evil, at least with the reboots, I've definitely seen that they're putting a lot of effort into immersion. So I
Yeah.
would have said that that would have made sense for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although I haven't, like I said, I haven't played it, but
Yeah.
I just came out of 7 and all of its DLC, and oh my god, like just
I mean,
that's the bread and butter to that game
yeah.
is the
I
immersion.
played 3 this year. It was a good game. I liked the sounds and listening for Nemesis
Hmm.
creeping through the halls. So
All the
I
Nemesis
think it deserves.
memes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think it deserves to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the category I really liked the most was the best role playing category because maybe Persona 5 Royal probably didn't deserve to be on there because it's just more Persona 5, but I would have been fine with
Oh
any of
well,
those games winning.
We all
no,
wanted Yakuza to win. You know it. We
yeah,
all
Yeah, but
wanted
unfortunately
the
it came out a little
underdog.
too late. It came out a
Underdog.
little too late to
it's
like
not. It's
really
not.
get.
It's not too late if it's on the list.
I know, but it's a little too late to get the attention needed to like
Well, it's
win.
all by critics, so I mean, I would
Yeah.
imagine they have to play the game they're voting for.
But how many of those? There's like a difference between like the number of critics who nominate and then the ones who actually vote for it. It's like I assume so at least.
Yeah. Wasteland 3 was on there too. That was surprising.
Yeah. What is an RPG?
Yeah, it's just I've never felt Wasteland was ever mainstream for sure. It was definitely well, I wouldn't even call it mainstream if it lands on an award nomination, but I wouldn't have thought it would ever reach the acclaim enough to land a nomination. But
Yeah.
from what I've actually, this is actually one I've been playing with my friend, because this Wasteland is co-op, and it's actually been really good so far. The voice acting's been superb. The combat's great. Uh, the only thing I would say is it's still a bit janky in terms of builds you can put together, because they give you a lot of freedom with your character, but it's been so far pretty fun.
But
Well,
I guess on role playing, I'll put my 2 cents in. Don't you notice that it's 2 Sega games for role playing, which is kind of wild in 2020?
I don't think P5 should count
No,
personally.
P5 Rose definitely count. They redid that whole game. I played maybe 250 hours of Royal. And
Don't
I don't
spoil
believe
it
it.
for us because I don't really want to
I'm
hear
not
about
yeah,
it.
I'm not going to spoil it, but compared to P5 Vanilla, they actually went above and
P5
beyond.
Plebeian.
Yeah. Because they fixed the issues that were in the original in this remake. They redid the lines, they redid the story.
For
So
somebody who hasn't played P5, the base game, did I say skip to Royal and I wouldn't
no,
really lose much?
you definitely it's the same game, but they add literally almost 40 more hours worth of gameplay.
Oh, so it's the same game.
It's the same game, but added content, new SKU.
Like I've heard mixed opinions on whether it's like on the same level like what Persona 4 Golden add to Persona 4.
I just wish Atlas would offer an upgrade option for the people who
Like a
were
DLC
bought
pack
it
or something.
immediately.
Yeah.
So
Again, do you know it's still Sega? Sega
Frickin-
has to make money. So
freaking
yeah,
Atlas.
that's
they
right.
got $60 for me twice, and I'm not complaining.
Okay.
Outside of all that, did anybody come across rather than going through each award, because I know we
Yeah.
are a bit we're a bit strapped for time here. So did anybody discover a game from the awards that they're like, okay, this is something I'm actually going to put on my list for 2021, and I wanna get to it.
No, because
I heard League of Legends won best esports game. That seems like an interesting game to get into. Maybe I should. No,
looks
please.
very fun.
Nick might
Please
not
do
be
not
on the next
play
podcast.
League.
I'm taking your
warning you
spot.
now. Save yourself. Do not get into League of Legends.
Like the only
Um,
thing, the only thing I never really heard about before now was Tell Me Why, the new game by the Life is Strange
Yeah, that
people.
was surprising because usually I hear about Don't Nod stuff, but that completely whizzed by me.
Yeah, but
this
but
game's for
but I
impact.
don't but I don't really have much interest in actually playing that game
They must have
because
developed that pretty quick.
yeah,
Um,
the thing with Dontnod games is that they are very ambitious in like what they in like what they set out to do with their narratives,
because they
but
came
they're
out
also
with
the
Vampire not too
execution
long ago.
yeah, but the execution can be wonky.
Because
Yeah.
Vampire came out in 2018, so they had to have been in develop. This had to have been in development for a while, or they had a quick turnaround. I don't know,
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
but
I will say the one game that I knew was not going to win, but it really hurt when it didn't. What it lost to was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim in the best narrative. I was like, yes, and I was like, anything but Last of Us 2 beating this game, please, because I knew it wasn't going to a niche game like this
Oh
was
yeah, that
not
was
going
one
to
of your
win.
favorites.
It's my favorite. It's like one of my favorite games in general. But yeah, but when I saw Last of Us 2 was the one that snatched the best narrative award from it, I was like, says I'm just cooking this frying pan, this empty frying pan, and I'm gonna burn myself with it.
I mean, it does say a lot for Vanillaware that does the artwork for it to make it that high, and I think that's going to be my game of 2021 to play.
wow,
That and Spelunky too.
yeah,
Yeah, Splunky 2 I've heard is I don't know how much it improves from Splunky 1, but I've heard good things about it.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Spelunky. So if it's still the same game, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. The
yeah.
one yeah. The one other thing that I did like about the Game Awards that stands out was when the Among Us developers came on when Among Us won some awards that some people argue it was 2018 game did not deserve to win in best mobile and such. But it was funny seeing those Among Us developers because they looked like a bunch of college kids who did not belong
It
there.
looked like it was in a dorm room. They were filming.
Yeah, and they were like, and they did not expect to win at all. So it was really cute when they were like, oh.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the Genshin Impact guy is like just looks sad when
yeah,
he
that's kind of weird. Like
I thought
Among
Genshin
Us
got
came
snubbed.
out, yeah,
Thought Genshin got
they did,
snubbed for mobile game.
yeah, but Among Us did come out in 2018, and it's been the same game. So I'm not saying it doesn't deserve to win, but it didn't deserve to win as a quote unquote 2020 game. If it was ongoing, yes,
Yeah, if that was
but not for
ongoing
mobile game.
category.
If they had
Yeah.
released that map already, but uh,
But did it come out for mobile this year? Did
I don't
they
really
did they
know.
port it? Is that what it was?
it's ported now. But yeah, when did that happen?
I don't know when they actually ported it to mobile, so I mean, I guess it could still not be
I don't
nominated
know.
for that.
Technically, for that, that's kind
I
of.
think we probably should take a look.
We may have to
Um,
update this
People
in
will
the
need the
description.
fact.
yeah, they need the. I did want to say that I one award I did like, one of the only awards I did like was best debut game going to Phasmophobia. I was like, oh,
Yes,
very cool.
that one I did like too. That was pretty good.
Um,
Yeah, even as jank as it was, it's a fun game.
oh yeah, it's super jank, but I've had so
Yeah.
much fun with it. All the other ones for that category I didn't well, I recognized Carrion. I didn't
Yeah, I
recognize the
recognize
other
Carrion as
three.
well, and I recognize Mortal Shell. That's
Oh yeah, I think I did hear about that,
to
but
put it bluntly, it's basically another Dark Souls clone and one that
mm,
does not really stand out. So it's
yeah.
like, yeah, not interested.
I think
So
I'll probably give them a good shake just to see, but yeah.
so super quick, Among Us came out for mobile June 15, 2018, and that was
Oh,
their
okay.
first release.
Okay.
Huh?
Wow,
Jeez.
It released
that's
for mobile
interesting.
first before Steam.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely shouldn't have qualified.
Although I will say, in the best multiplayer category, I mean, it was competing against Animal Crossing, whose multiplayer is shit. Valorant, who is well, that depends. Call of Duty Warzone, which depends, but I hear more negative things about it. And Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, which is like alternates between lively and dead.
You mean you don't want to come over to my island and hit each other with nets. Like, yeah, what else do you really do in Animal
It's
Crossing?
not well. It's not just that. It's also because of how the online works. How it has to go
Yeah,
to
the
that loading screen every time.
airports and the dodo codes and the oh
Hmm.
gosh,
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'll still
that's
do
the
it,
main
Really
but
a
holding.
shocker to me
yeah,
that Nintendo has a bad multiplayer.
right.
That's just I've never.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
I mean, local multiplayer they're good at. It's just the online multiplayer they're not.
You
Like,
gotta protect the kids.
Because what? You don't have any friends nearby? No? Huh? You don't have any friends?
I can't play Mario Party online because all it is just like a few mini games. You can't play
What?
board games online.
Wasn't that their like response to Mario 3D World when it came out? It's like, oh wait, you guys have friends, right?
Oh, you guys got phones, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Have
bad
you
that when
played
Oh,
people,
that's
Mario 3D World?
that was the Diablo.
ugh,
It's not very cooperative.
3D
Because
World is just people burning through all your damn lives, and then you tell them to get out of your room.
I know exactly. It's not made for co-op at all.
Awful,
but yeah,
man.
it's so bad that when people like develop their own better online version of it, like for Slippy for Melee online tournaments, they get shut down if it's not Nintendo themselves that are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
RIP.
yeah.
I could say all the games I'm looking to play next year, but I would go on a while because most of these I actually want to play. The
Then
only
just
one I
give top
probably
2.
oh I will say the one I won't play, and I will say the top two. I won't play Animal Crossing simply because I don't like those type of games.
Well,
That's fair.
also the hype has died down now, so it's like
If
not
I wouldn't have this problem, Justin, if I cared about hype.
yeah. So
But
it's like there's no real reason to jump into it now.
yeah, for sure. I think definitely Hades and hmm, Hades and maybe Ghost of Tsushima. But I am really my interest has been really piqued with 13 Sentinels, even though I've never liked a Vanillaware game. I
You've only
bought
played
it.
one?
I played a little bit of Odin Spear and I played Dragon's Crown, but isn't that's all that I know they've developed.
Yeah, they've developed a few more, but like those two I think are the more high profile games. But yes,
But
13 but then 13
oh,
Sentinels
I didn't know
is
they developed Muramasa. Yeah, okay, I did like
Yeah.
Muramasa. I did
yeah,
like
they've
Muramasa.
developed
Yeah.
Muramasa.
That was a good
They're pretty
game.
good studio.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they're
Dragon's
pretty
Crown
good.
was a wash for me.
Yeah. I mean not every game can be a banger, I guess.
I mean, Dragon Crown really shines when you actually have actual people playing with you.
Yeah, but you could say that about like I don't know, like certain other games.
I don't know. I tried it I tried it with my friends and I still couldn't get into it. It just for me it felt like it wanted to be Gauntlet, but it just wasn't scratching the Gauntlet itch for me.
I mean, it was pretty much a beat 'em up with RPG elements, so like Final Fight or Streets of Rage.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Double Dragon. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, didn't get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, Streets of Rage was the game I also kind of had a little hard time getting into as well because it's basically just the classic beat 'em up and that's pretty much it. Like
Hey,
some
you
of
know what? I've been waiting for the game for 25 years. Like, I was surprised that
That's all I
Sega
hear.
like
yeah.
highlighted that. So,
Yeah,
and
I'm
it made
glad.
it to the awards. That's even more
Yeah, that's
weird.
pretty cool. Like, because Streets of Rage 4 did have, even though it wasn't like heavily marketed, it did get some pretty good critical reception. I'm really glad that the fans of the original series are satisfied with it. I was just talking about like as someone who just jumped into Streets of Rage 4 without having played any of the others. I was like, well, it's a beat 'em up. Not
That
nothing
I
I
mean,
love, but yeah,
that's all you need to know. It's a beat 'em up.
yeah.
Um, I mean, just a super quick history on it, and I'm surprised Sega actually let a studio do it. And listening to like the actual when they talked about doing it, it was just like, "Hey, we want to make a game." They're like, "Cool." Dust off the IP, gave it to them.
Mhm.
But good for them. Dotemu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much covers all the stuff we really wanted to hit with the Game Awards. Although
Yeah, pretty much.
we
Yeah.
beat it to death, even though there's not there's not much
Dead
memorable
horse.
experiences
we
there.
Very dead.
Well, we didn't beat it to death too much. We did talk about what we liked about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Last of Us.
yeah.
I will say
If you
kind
take
of
away
miss-
anything, we're all big Last of Us 2 fans.
Yeah.
I will say I kind of wish
Uh,
Genshin Impact did get like some recognition somewhere besides that really terrible commercial.
Stolen the most money award or something.
Yeah, yeah, because
Oh.
Best gambling.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact didn't actually win awards in like some other games shows. Like I know it won second place in like the Ultimate Game of the Year in the Golden Joysticks. Of course, Last of Us 2 beat it, but
Yeah.
oh, interesting.
the second place isn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it won some other things like Google Game Awards and something like that.
Stadia awards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah. At that point, it's like, why do we even bother?
Yeah. I mean, end of the day, as long as they're making money, who cares about awards when you have
Yeah,
all that
and also
cash?
and also the fact that what's the company that made that game? I don't remember.
Mihoyo.
Is the Chinese
Oh.
company
Oh yeah, MiHoYo.
So
Redacted.
basically Tencent.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, no. Let's not compare every Chinese company to each other,
They're
okay?
basically Tencent. I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
Chinese
they'll
politics is
probably go and
another
buy it.
episode. But
That we will not get into.
I'm just
okay.
I'm just waiting for it to be banned, and then all my money just goes up in flames.
Oh, sorry, I meant West
They
Taiwan.
would though, because like I mean, like that would be stupid if they did ban Genshin Impact.
Yeah, because all the Chinese company bans in the United States have always made sense.
Yeah,
Rest in
Yeah, I
peace,
know.
Huawei.
Get
Rest in
banned.
peace.
But TikTok's still around, isn't it?
Unbanned.
Yeah.
It's around, but you
Uh,
have to. It's not on the App Store officially anymore, and you can't receive updates.
Okay. Well,
But yeah,
what can you do?
Wait till next year.
Maybe a topic for
Yeah,
the next discussion then as well. Isn't there something going on with the Epic Store and the App Store? They're taking Fortnite
I have
off,
not
or
paid attention to the Epic Store in forever, so I'm like, whatever.
I'm paying attention to it. They're giving away
I
12
didn't
days of
realize
free
that.
games for Christmas. They do it every year.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's fun. Go if you guys don't mind using the Epic Store, yeah, do it.
I
Take
like
advantage of
free.
the deals.
I like free things.
Yeah.
But
everyone
is
does.
it free?
Free, quote unquote, and
asterisks.
they're mining your information, but that's okay. I ain't got nothing worth mining.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't get the huge hate for the Epic Store. Like its problems
It's a bad
are
UI.
there.
That's about all I'll give it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
are there, but it's like people are ignoring what Steam has done over the years and other publishers have done.
As like
in-
growing into its own sort of like from where it started out, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, even now, there's other problems. It's like, yeah, you can argue that Epic Store's problems are deeper and all that, but it's like, but it there's some parts where people are just like really picky about what they will and won't accept from like gaming companies.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, do we have any closing thoughts here? I don't want to. We don't want to run too over time here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. So.
I think if you share your games that you want to play for 2021 real quick.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I will probably still be playing Animal Crossing by this time, the Game Awards next year, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I guess some of the trailers for the games that may be coming out soon. There was like some road trip games that seemed pretty interesting. I don't know. There's just some oddball trailers. I think I had it pulled up. Road 76, and then Season as well seemed like a pretty interesting, uh, just kind of going on an adventure, open world sort of. Eh,
Oh, the
game
one with like the mom and the daughter.
I think it was that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
grandma was a secret pirate or something. It's like we gotta go figure it out. I'm like, what the fuck?
So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these may just be like a not that, but like they spent all their development money to get their trailer onto the Game Awards, perhaps.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see.
I mean, they didn't have E3, so
Yeah, right.
As for
Yeah.
like stuff, I'm just gonna go list the games that I have played but haven't beaten yet. Like I'm just gonna leave those out. As for games that I do want to get to playing, Spiritfarer, because I've been hearing many good things about that game forever, but I just haven't gotten to it. and then there's the Neo games
Yeah,
because
too. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Neo 2, yeah, because I like Team Ninja games when they're done well, like some good action along with my fan servicey girls. And let's see. And yes, I will. At some point have to play. Well, not have to, but I do want to play Persona 5 Royal sometime. I do own the game, but I just haven't gotten to it.
Oh, I forgot to mention as an update from last week, I have finished Age of Calamity. Then now, I guess the final level, and it's. I'm really curious as to what this means for Breath of the Wild 2 now, even more than I was like suspecting what would happen before I
Yeah.
finished the game. Now that I finished the game, it's kind of like, oh, how did you? You can't just do that and then call it canon when Breath of the Wild 1 exists. But uh, I don't want to spoil it, but I recommend it. But
Maybe Koei
what it means,
Tecmo didn't play Breath of the Wild.
I just wonder, yeah, because it's like, yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but it kind of does what I was worried it might do in last week's podcast, with the plot and time travel. But it's not like this. All the series is like not like immune to or time travel and shenanigans and stuff. But this is just like kind of taking it up to a whole new level that they didn't have to do. But I'm really curious. I think that game might come out next year. It'll probably get delayed, but yeah, we'll see.
Probably winter. If at any time, it'll probably be Q4.
Mm,
Mhm. Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, I don't expect to release anytime soon.
yeah, that was the quote from Al Numa. I think even we were talking about it earlier. That's like a delayed game is eventually great, but a game released too early is forever bad. And maybe
Unless it's No Man's Sky.
maybe the Cyberpunk guys should have done that. But in this age of DLCs and patches and updates and stuff, perhaps
Yeah.
that's not as pertinent anymore. But
Well, yeah.
guess we'll see.
All right then. Is there Justin? Do you want to close it out for us, or do you want to talk about any events that are coming up?
Yeah, look forward. We got quite a few. Well, we don't have. Well, okay, not quite a few, but keep paying attention to us when we announce stuff for the end of the year. We've already got Anime Pictionary, I think.
Yeah, the Anime Pictionary is going to be
December
New Year's
31st, I
Eve.
believe.
Oh yeah, it's like the New Year's party then. Yeah.
Yes.
New Year's
Yes,
Eve.
and just like pay attention to like anything else we announce, whether it be like I don't know, like movie watches or just like or just chat in our Discord in general because with how things are, I doubt we'll really have much else to do or to
Person
host
events and all. Yeah.
within the next few weeks. So yeah. And let's hope that 2021 will be a better year than 2020, but it probably won't. It's just the 2020 is just a prologue for 2021.
Oh no.
And yeah, that's it for our second episode of this podcast, guys. Thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to our pro gamer mindset. And sorry if things got a little heated, but it just remember, we don't hate you. We hate ourselves. Wait, what?
Uh-oh. Oh wait. I
Wait,
gotta.
that came. Yeah, that is a terrible. That is a terrible conclusion.
I got an
But
outro. I
yeah,
got an outro. Yeah, thanks for tuning into the Mothers Against Dyslexia podcast. Wait. No. It's DAM. Ah, shoot.
Okay,
You'll get it. You'll
I'm
get it.
holding this shotgun right
That's what
now, and I will shoot it into my mic. It will come out of your mic and hit you.
But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. And thank you definitely to Jamar for joining us as a special guest.